though my eyes cannot see God's might and majesty. Faith fills up this need, and my heart does believe.
Hey everyone, we're back for another podcast.
What day
Here we
is
go.
it?
It's Saturday
Again.
We're back for more.
Boom.
Boom.
That's right.
Boom.
We just thought of a new name for our
No,
podcast.
no, really,
too.
really.
We gotta start out. Come on.
No, this is
Actually,
what we're
I can't take the credit. This one came from Jake
Yeah.
over here. So
Well, now you have to say it, so
Well,
go for it.
yeah. So this is the UTM potty.
It's so much funnier when you hear it. It's so much funnier.
You just are so happy about it.
Apparently, I think it's great. It just reminds me of the good old days, when life was simple.
Oh, when you're just
Where you
learning how
got
to
in
go
trouble
potty?
just like for
I'm so sorry. This is great.
This is a great start, team.
I just know that Nicole says she doesn't want me to officially rename the podcast that.
I will fight you. Do
you-
not do that.
the UTM potty.
There's no reason we can't mention it. Though.
We can,
Right at the beginning. I'm sorry.
we can mention it, but you will not rename our podcast that.
How would you spell it?
Why are we
How do you spell potty in general?
POTTY?
It is double T.
Yeah.
Or POTTIE.
We can do PODY.
Oh no. I'm still
Potty.
vetoing this. I'm still
Yeah.
No.
What? Mary's a mother. She understands.
Oh my gosh.
She probably taught us the potty train. We didn't
No,
even know
what?
about it.
Did
Excuse me?
Jesus have to be potty trained?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he's a human.
See?
This
You
is
know
too
that
much.
I don't know.
Aristotelian logic right there. I win.
Hashtag
I'm kidding. That was
hashtag team huggies.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't think they potty trained them probably the same way during Jesus' time like we do now. So I don't think that was the same.
cloth diapers.
Yeah.
Hashtag cloth diapies. I would
Yeah, they
call
probably had to like wash them all the
/
time.
Israel where water is scarce. That's nasty.
Yeah, right? So let's not name the podcast after that situation. So on that note, Holy Week. Oh,
We're gonna talk about like how one prays and understands Holy Week.
yeah.
Well, like tomorrow is Palm Sunday for us, so
Well, technically today. Well, you went to Palm Sunday Mass today.
I just went to Vigil Mass, and so the Mass was extra long with the extra readings and all of that. But the whole Passion narrative.
I know at like my parish, they literally like the priest literally say, "Okay, guys, this is a long reading. If you need to sit down, that's okay."
Yes.
Did they do that here? Where
No,
you
they
were?
did not.
Oh.
Everyone stood
Did
up.
they imply it in a way?
Unless I was asleep, I don't think so.
Cool. Were you asleep?
Yeah,
No, but I can stand asleep, so I might have been. I don't
you
know.
can.
Sometimes.
That's epic, actually.
I just hardly ever sit down.
I'm scared of that though. Kind of freaky.
Can you sleep with your eyes open?
Like in other words, like I won't know if you're asleep or awake.
I can
Yeah.
turn. Well, I can. It's not like I turn my brain off, but like sometimes my brain isn't just like thinking.
Oh,
So-
Fair. Actually,
Okay.
that's a fair
I'm not the
point.
only one,
I've
right?
actually asked Michael a question, and I'm like, Michael. He goes, "Oh yes, hi." He does
too.
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's not a bad thing. We're just noticing it.
We're just used to doing stuff with you, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay! But yes, it's the long narrative because it goes through the whole Passion, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's when you have the priest split up with either a deacon or other lectors, and they'll split up the parts, and the crowd can come in and be like, "Crucify him!" Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I always hate saying that, but I get it.
Yeah, because technically the congregation are the annoying, public people of the time.
For sure. For sure.
You.
It'd be crazy to be there, like when he, like during his being arrested and everything,
Sure.
to be there and like witness it. I mean, I realize like back then the understanding of Jesus is not the same that we have now. But if I had the understanding now, I'd probably be like crying, like, "What are you doing to our Lord?"
Oh, absolutely. I feel this whenever I watch. I tend to like obviously participate in like Good Friday, Holy Thursday,
Yeah.
as we call it, Triduum, which
Is
is
it Triduum?
Triduum. It's hard to say. It's a little bit
is.
funky. Just a th. It fights me. But I tend to I go to all the services, but I like to watch the
Passion?
Mel Gibson's The Passion.
Oh, I watch The Passion every Good Friday.
Cool.
Yeah.
If one's down. I'm always down to watch it.
Always.
Always, bro.
That's intense.
I have it
Yeah,
upstairs.
The Passion is a really intense movie.
I can recall my mom telling me that she went with her sisters, if I can recall, 2004 or later. It's a pretty older movie now.
Was that movie in theaters?
Yes. So, all said and
Can you
done.
imagine watching that the first
Well,
time?
yeah, that's
my
just it.
gosh.
That's what I'm getting at. Like, my mom said she went with her sisters.
You
and
wouldn't even know which parts to close your eyes for.
literally, my mom and her sisters and everybody in the
Crow.
audience literally did not say anything. And I
Yeah.
can recall my mom telling me, she's like, we all just got up and left. With just like the way you would be
Yeah.
reverent.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
an
you felt like you-
experience. I mean, you guys have watched the Passion movie, I'm guessing,
Yep.
right? What are like I want to say favorite scenes? That's really weird to say, but like
Okay, like what's your parts of the stations you like?
yeah, like what? I mean, I have things that I really like, and then I have things that like I really struggle with in that movie. So
I will say one part that's particularly weird is their interpretation of the outcast in the scenes of like the devil being in the audience of the people.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
Like, you know that the weird like devil baby?
oh, yeah, I don't understand that. Does anyone like what is that?
It's like
It's just
technically his
creepy.
version. His
Artistic creepiness.
yeah, it's this artistic version of like the devil is among the situation.
No, but
well-
what's with the baby?
I mean,
It's just a
my
form
under-
of baby. It's like a cherubim, but a devil cherubim.
I mean, my understanding, like the appreciation that comes across to me when I watch the movie is like the devil orchestrated, Jesus' death like to the best of his ability, but somehow Jesus works through all of that, and ultimately, like his plan is manifest. So I don't know.
Yeah. The
That's the best
idea,
I can do.
the idea is that he's supposed to be like among everything, and he's like pointing it out and laughing, and he's trying to be a jerk face.
I love the scenes with Mary in the Passion.
Yes.
Like they're just so I don't know. Every time that in the Passion when Jesus falls and like Mary's running at him and it like flashes back to him being a child, I sob like every time. I'm like, this is beautiful.
I legit cannot stop getting emotional when they talk about the fall of when he needed his mom.
Yeah.
In the sense of like he was a child with his mom growing up. So imagine the pain of someone who loves someone as passionately as your parents do, or like a stepdad or a cousin. The whole holy crud, it's really happening, bro. Mm-hmm. It's intense.
Yeah, my favorites. Well, I think one of my favorite scenes has to do with Peter. Peter's my middle name. But like, yeah, he comes up, or somehow he ends up, at Mary's feet. He's like crying, sobbing, and I just think that's cool.
Oh,
But,
it's
like,
it's after he denies Jesus
Right.
and sees Mary and Mary Magdalene and who's the apostle with them?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
John.
He's got
John.
he's got the curly hair.
Yeah,
right?
okay, with him. And he basically is like, I denied your son. Like, don't touch me. I'm not even worthy of you.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
at
wild.
the beginning, you get to kind of follow Peter through the movie, to a certain extent. But he's like, he kind of does what Jesus asked him to do. Is like Jesus says, "Go pick up a sword." So he goes picks up a sword, and then cuts off the ear of the one Caiaphas's high priest
Yes.
servant guard person.
Yes.
And then, but like Jesus does that amazing healing too. I don't know.
Sorry.
Peter's story is like so interesting.
It is an interesting story.
It always catches me off guard. Certain, like, it's a movie, so obviously there's philosophical drama feel to music in movies.
Yeah.
It always catches me off guard when he denies Jesus 3 times and the way the music is. It just always catches me to be like, he didn't want to do any of that. He never intended to do any of that. It's so emotional because as us being Catholic, we never want to do any of the things we say we think about when we're praying
Yeah.
and intentionally
It's not
praying.
like we want to sin.
Yeah, it's so intentional.
Just saying.
It's just so sad when I see his situation because he was considered one of the holiest people of his time.
And guess what? The church was still built upon him. What now?
Heck yeah.
Which is cool because then it's like you see the church is built upon Jesus' mercy
Yeah.
for Peter, which
For
is
real.
super cool.
Heck yeah. Divine mercy. Hey, one little shout out.
You got this. I believe in you.
I don't got it.
That's kind of, that cross looks like the Passion.
Honestly, it looks like the Jim, is it Caviezel? Is how you say it?
He got really beat up in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, we could be so critiquey. It's a bodysuit. Some people say they can
I
know.
can't tell from watching
People
it.
So-
say they can.
Actually, fun fact. When they are doing the scourging scene, that's with the thing that whipped in the back.
Yes.
They had a a metal plate on his back, on the actor's back, just to make sure that he didn't get hurt.
Sure.
But at one point, the thing actually went around and did rip off some of the actors.
Yikes.
Yeah. And also, Jim Caviezel had one heck of a time. He got struck by lightning. He had fluid around his heart and like almost died doing this movie.
Right.
I heard a lot of things about him.
Wow.
They say like there was a lot
Wild.
there was actually like a miracle supposedly in the movie with him being a part of a lot of things.
Yeah.
I remember going to Living Stations, which is just kind of a reenactment. And this one was done by fellow students, so college students, when I was at Franciscan in Steubenville. And the one person who played Jesus just like did it like Jim Caviezel did in The Passion. And he did like the breathing and everything while carrying the cross. He was like struggling for breath. Is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was intense.
The one part I totally cannot watch in The Passion is when his hands and feet are being nailed.
Oh, you know what's even more intense?
Ugh.
And then they flip him over because they have to get.
I never understood that part.
Wait,
So I don't
that
get
part
what's
is
going on.
crazy. Okay, so I initially did not understand that part either. Why, when he got flipped over, he doesn't hit the ground?
Exactly. That doesn't make sense.
I'll tell you why. Because in Scripture it says that the angels were administering to him or
Yes.
taking care of him,
Sure.
even throughout the Passion. So the whole thing of that is showing that the angels kind of protected him from him hitting the ground.
That's what that's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And honestly, just to like make a very like literal thing, they had to flip him over for the sake of just making sure they nailed the hammer on the backside of the
Yeah.
cross. For the reasons why they flipped him over in general, for
Yeah.
people wondering.
So typically, like the people would like hit the ground, but
Yeah.
We just watched. Don't worry, this is kind of full circle. But we just watched the Fatima movie recently.
Yeah, the 2020
And
Fatima
there's
movie.
the one critic person that's interviewing Lucia.
Oh yeah,
Sister
there's a
Lucia,
Protestant or like
and he's like giving this weird example.
Agnostic
He's
man.
like, "Oh yeah, but when people get the stigmata, they always get it in their hands. But that's not right because like when the Romans crucified people, they did it in the wrist. So it was like, well,
that's wrong.
then everything you believe is wrong. But I don't know.
I feel like I've seen stigmata actually in people's wrists, not hands.
You've seen it.
No, not sorry.
I was about to be like, whoa.
I got to meet this person.
I've seen a lot of miracles.
How many at St. Greg's? Sorry.
I've seen a lot of miracles and a lot of spiritual things at St. Greg's, but I've never seen the stigmata. Wow, that would be insane.
I would have
but
to.
photos and stuff like that it can be in the palms, but it is also in the wrists. So like, I guess it just depends on the person.
The way I look at this is the stigmata shows up however it shows up. Like
Yeah.
Or
we
it
know
could
we
be
know
like
Saint
Saint Rita, just like one thorn. Boom.
yeah,
Yeah.
Saint Francis,
Yeah.
Saint Teresa.
I mean, some saints literally had all 5.
Which Teresa?
Isn't it Avila's forehead?
Avila?
I don't.
No, that's Rita. Maybe Saint. I don't.
I don't know
Avila,
my fact. Check me, bro.
though. Okay.
I don't. Honestly, I can't tell you facts all the time. I'm just
I know
human.
that a lot of saints did have the wounds of Christ. Some had all of them, which is
Saint Padre
crazy.
Pio, right?
I think
yeah.
he just had the hands. He didn't have anything else.
I think.
Either
Was
way,
it hands and feet for him?
I don't
I
think it was
cannot
feet.
say.
I don't think it was feet.
Okay.
Here, I mean-
know it was hands because at St. Greg's we had the relics come.
Yes.
And they had like a scab from, which was, it's such a weird, why are we, like,
I went
Back
to
to
that.
relics. I feel like this is not the first time we've talked about
nope,
relics on the podcast.
nope, not at all. But it's so, I remember like when the relics came to St. Greg's, they were
The
like,
one
"Look,
that gets me is the one relic is like, this is a growth from underneath the fingernail of the one saint. I'm like, why would you put that?
why would you put that on display? Like, what is the purpose of this? We had a glove, a lock of hair.
I actually have some of the photos, but I don't know where they are right now on my camera roll.
Yeah.
But I remember going. So
To St.
as you-
Greg's?
yes, I went to it.
And a scab. And I was like, why do we have scab? This is weird. But I'm like, wait, it's the stigmata. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it was
Protein.
Oh my goodness.
it was physical stigmata blood
Yeah.
in the
And
context.
actually, the wild thing too is like some people who have the stigmata don't have like open wounds, if that makes sense.
I don't know.
Oh no, I've read about this. Like some saints and some people that have the stigmata don't have open wounds. They like relive the passion.
Oh yeah, so if we go back and think about Padre Pio in a general point of view, we can use him as an example. They explain in a lot of the saints books that I've read that I've picked up at like when I go to the Adoration Chapel. They're painful. Like they're not just like, oh, you have like a Stigmata, and it's beautiful in the context of what it is. It's like having yourself slicing your hand open from, like, say you cutting something in the kitchen.
And so, I mean, again, every saint is like different. Some people experience all the pain, some of it, but there are people that actually
Okay.
like,
But like Padre Pio, it came in and out.
So
I think
I'm
a
sorry.
couple times.
People know I'm on my phone, whatever. It's hands and feet.
for Padre Pio.
And it was in September 1918.
Yeah, and it, like you said, like it will come
1918. Really?
Well, yeah, you know Padre Pio was a World
That's
War
like-
II saint.
Well, I'm just thinking that's like the year after Fatima, 1917. I didn't.
Ooh.
I never.
We all know that.
I didn't
His story's
realize it was
great.
like that close.
Basically, his
Yeah.
story's great.
But some people experience the passion. So basically, like, I read, it's a book about mystics in the Catholic Church. And this lady, basically, like, every Good Friday or something, will live the passion of Christ. And, like, feel all the stuff that happens to
If
him.
that happened to you, would you consider it a great blessing in your life?
That's a tough question because it's so hard to be able to look at that as like a
Because there's one sense in which suffering and pain is actually really spiritually valuable, because that's something you can only experience while here on earth, but not when you're in heaven. Eschatology. Sorry.
Here, I want to
There we go.
I want to piggyback off that. How would you consider something like I have a good example of what Nicole could speak on her situations through COVID.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about suffering there, people. Oh.
Like breaking a bone, let's say. But yours specifically was different.
Okay, so yeah, suffering is like a real thing here on Earth. Obviously, we have all lived through the pandemic, and I experienced it in a totally different way than some people. Michael's probably the closest person to experienced it like I did, where we had to work nonstop. Like, we lived at St. Greg's. But then in 21, I got into a car accident that really changed my life and really like hurt me physically and just took away a lot of things that like I was hoping for. I was supposed to test for my 4th degree black belt. I couldn't do it. I literally couldn't even like lift up a garbage bag because my shoulder and neck were so messed up. And I had to do a lot of rehab and I had to work really hard to get like where I am now. So, you know, if you see me deadlifting, it's taken a lot of time to get back to that or to that. I never did it before, but you know what I'm saying. But there was a point where I had to kind of relinquish the suffering to God and be like, okay, this stinks, but I'm going to give it to Him and like unite it with everything else that's happening in the world.
Yes.
I feel like that's a form of dark night because, well, at least it can be. Because sometimes it just happens that, like, okay, yeah, you're experiencing some sort of suffering and you don't think things can get worse. And then, like, it gets even worse and worse and worse. It's like, what's going on? And there's really nothing you
Sure.
can do sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
I would love to piggyback, if I may. A good way to always be is that you can say those things are difficult in life. I always like to say, well, as Nicole always points out, how could I do anything I did without God
Amen.
and or the saints in heaven, especially Mary for her, at least for her. I don't know, that's just...
No, it's really true. You know, the pandemic was really difficult, and you know, I had to work really hard through the entire thing, and I was grinding like full cylinders all the time, and then like a year after the pandemic started, I get hit by a car. So like that is, you know.
And so, like, something that was life-giving, like in your case, Taekwondo,
Yes,
all of
was
a sudden
gone.
it gets taken away.
For a year.
And you don't even know if it's going to come back.
No.
Dude, I want to be honest. Epic when we got to go watch.
There was a lot to that when I actually got to test.
I love it. I had a blast going there. Probably the hottest gymnasium of my life.
Oh, yes, for real. Yeah, it was hard because there is, you know, I've been independent for like ever, right? I've been independent on my own since I was 19. And so, you know, having to rely on people to literally like wash my laundry and like clean my house and do all this stuff because, oh my gosh, wow.
But then there's also an element of, you know, I won't say faking it, but like hiding it because you're not letting everyone know, you know, that you're experiencing pain or something like that. And so, I mean, that in itself is a burden, you know?
Yeah. No, I really like didn't want people to know what was going on. So I would continue to work and stuff and just kind of like suffer through it, I guess you could say. I
Sure.
remember one time I was running running a youth night, and I had to set up all this stuff, but I literally couldn't lift tables or move anything. But nobody was there to help me. And so I attempted to start moving stuff, but then I was in so much pain I ended up on the ground crying. And this is like right before Edge started, and I started calling core members crying, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I can't move stuff," and no one came. So
Are you talking about like during COVID?
no, this was like after my accident.
No, I get that. But what, during lockdown?
No, it wasn't during lockdown. It's when we were kind of back in normal
Sure.
ish. Redemptive suffering is a real thing. It's a real.
So how would you? Here's a question: how would you compare this, the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," as opposed to redemptive suffering? Is there a difference?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I like both statements.
I wouldn't say, oh, yes, like that, but I'm like, there's a difference for sure.
Yeah. I mean, going through all that stuff, like, I do remember saying, well, I didn't die accident, so, like, I'm just going to keep on getting stronger. But also, like, there is a point where you have to be like, okay, just take it, Jesus, and give this suffering for other people. Like, there is a point of that.
So when you say it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, what is the eschatology or whatever you want to call it on the idea that if you were to be martyred?
If I was to, I mean, martyrdom is like, you go
if
right
you were
to
to be
heaven.
martyred doing youth ministry,
Honestly, that probably is going to...
wait.
that's a real thing, though.
Wait, guys, I like that almost
Playing
happened to me.
kickball.
That almost happened to me once.
Ball
Oh, the
goes to the
dodgeball
head.
thing you told me
No,
about.
no, okay. I got a concussion because of youth ministry. Like really badly one time. So close. I almost was martyred.
There are lots of times I almost died, but not something so noble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you ate too many hot wings or something.
well,
Maybe.
biking. Sure.
Oh, fair.
Biking.
There was those moments where it's like you bike in the wrong situation. There's cars.
Snowboarding.
Yep.
Yeah.
that
you,
one
like,
was a legit.
You fell.
Yeah.
Real bad. Talk about suffering with that.
I will say, as a little kid, I did hit my head pretty hard once when I was playing tag when I was a young man.
There you go.
Or a young boy, excuse me, and it was dusk. It was getting very dim out. I tripped onto. I was in the front yard. I tripped over stuff and I fell into a trunk of a tree, and that was a severe headache and a severe
That's
cut.
bad.
But I mean, at the end of the day, hey, I don't
Okay.
know. Not to sound like whatever, but you know,
Gotta do it.
gotta do what you gotta do.
So
I was the tagger.
Yeah, Mikey Mike.
What?
When you almost died with snowboarding.
Yeah.
What about it?
What do you want to talk about it about?
Well,
I talked a lot, so you shared that.
Yeah, if you
moment.
want to go about it.
but does that defeat? Well, I don't know if I ever offered that up. So, but would it defeat the purpose if I shared that story? If I had offered it up, that just really
Wait, what?
does that make sense?
No, I don't know what you're saying. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
If you start sharing with others like a story,
Oh, you're talking about like prudence?
no, not prudence, but does that mean you lose the merit? Wow, we're really speaking like Catholics.
No,
here.
I don't think
Do you lose
so.
the merit of your suffering if you had offered it up, but then you just tell people?
Well, would you call that someone's needing to hear that for their
Yeah.
own benefit, for like the fortitude and justice virtues?
I was about to say like.
I guess so. I don't. There was no prudence in this, but
I
I went for the
Fair.
I went for the biggest jump at Lake Placid.
It wasn't.
at
It
least
was
at
not.
Whiteface
It wasn't Bunny Hills or nothing.
Resort. No. I'm a really good snowboarder.
Okay,
And
fair.
so,
I'm kidding. I don't know anything about how you snowboard.
When I say I went for the biggest jump at Lake Placid, it was the biggest jump at Lake
Okay,
Placid.
fair.
It just went like up,
Okay, fair.
and it didn't like.
Okay, so
I don't mean to laugh at it.
you went up for the biggest jump,
Yeah.
and what happened?
I've told you this with Taekwondo before. Like, I don't know how my body moves through the air, and so
Spatial awareness isn't there.
no, like, I've
No, I
tried.
know that feeling.
Like, literally, this was another instance
I
of
got
me
another one.
trying to get it down, and it just went straight up. Like, there were a whole bunch of pros.
Was
what
it
I
a
would
nice
say,
snowy
going on a whole
week?
bunch of jumps? They didn't go on this one.
Yeah.
And there was probably a reason.
It was a nice
because there was
snowy
no
week,
good
yeah.
landing. Like, and so with jumps, like you got to commit. Like, if you do something halfway, like that's when failure happens.
Yeah.
So I committed. Like, I did everything right. I went for it, and so straight up, and then straight down. Like, just imagine. Like the way I imagined it, just imagine being held or tied to a string, 15 feet up,
Sure.
landing straight on your upper back.
Oh.
I'm so glad that, like, I landed on my upper back with like my feet over me and like just like imagine lower neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I completely blacked out. I couldn't see.
You got an unconscious situation.
I was not unconscious, but I
was
wasn't
a
sure.
shock.
I wasn't sure if I was dying or not. I
Yeah.
literally wasn't. And I couldn't move for a long time. And then like the whole I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe
Gotcha.
at all.
Yeah.
Like for the next
Okay.
week, I couldn't breathe. I
Yeah.
got an MRI done. I wasn't sure if I had a collapsed lung or not.
Yeah.
So
I remember a situation piggybacking off of that when I went to the Outer Banks, which is the beaches of North Carolina. And I can recall there was a pretty significant windy storm approaching us. I don't want to rat out my brother, but I won't. I'll just say my brother was with me. We had dinner, so we had a few drinks. Far is enough to say. So we brought a few things to chill out and do at the beach. And I can recall the riptide was so dramatic
Yeah.
that I was like, dude, it's whatever. More or less, I was thinking about like, am I gonna die because of a shark? I'm stupid. But the riptide almost killed me. Like I
Yeah.
physically, kid you not, I got almost drowned, and my brother just pulled me.
Yeah. Because it sucked you in.
He just pulled me, and he started laughing because he was goofing, because he's seriously just a fun kid.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And he pulls me, and he just takes me to the shore. But the thing was, we were like, we know there's a storm approaching, but we
Yeah.
don't believe it's going to be a riptide situation. We just assumed it was nothing. We assumed, let's go to the beach. It's beautiful sunset. Let's do our thing, what have you. And I can recall the riptide almost taking me, and that felt like, and I literally, like you said, you don't know anything at that moment. You're like, what the heck? What's the spatial awareness? I physically lost my breath. Thought I
Like,
was.
Am I dying?
Am I physically?
what came to mind is I've seen a deer get hit by a car once, and
Yeah.
so it like flew up 10 feet,
Yeah.
hit like scrambled a little bit to the side of the road and died.
Oh.
That's like
What you
in
thought
that
was
moment,
happening?
That's what I thought was happening because I had enough. I kind of scrambled just enough to get to the side, and then I stopped, and like it just freaked me out so bad.
Yeah, it freaked me out too. Like I lost every single part of my functionality to say I can't do anything unless someone shows up.
I'm not going to lie. When you have a car coming at you, your life flashes before your eyes.
I can't believe this conversation we're having in the context of like Holy Week. This is like strangely appropriate.
So how do you want to? Okay.
Well, I mean, like, okay, talking about all our, like, close to death experiences, I think it, like, really puts into perspective, like, the gift of life that we have.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's wild.
Well, I know I don't appreciate mine like at all.
I will say that I'm not humble enough to realize the situation at hand sometimes. Like what it's so sad.
Yeah, I learned really greatly, like, after the accident, like, how grateful I am for this, like, capable body.
Heck yeah.
Because I was not for, like, a year and a half. I was not. Until I got surgery, I was
Hey, Nicole,
really struggling.
let us help you.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good at asking for help from people. Oh my gosh, it was so frustrating. So frustrating. And I was like, I'm fine. It's fine. It wasn't fine.
When I would help you with the Fiat setup, I'm like, I understand,
Gosh.
and I appreciate all the
No.
help, but knock it off. We love you. We want to help you.
Stop moving things and go sit down. I have to help. No, Nicole. No.
Really, all you were. What the best situation you could have? Well, just yell at us.
I'm sorry.
That's all that really was great. It was.
I mean, and then after surgery, I had to do rehab.
For
so
sure,
that was
for
like
sure.
important that I did stuff. But, yeah.
So okay, as you were saying,
Holy Week.
what's Holy Week? How do we apply this to the scripture?
I don't know how we got here, but.
Well, how do we want to apply that to redemptive suffering?
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, ultimately, like, Christ in the Passion suffers greatly for us.
Is this a unique perspective? Because maybe it's because I'm in the ballpark of starting to get to the same age as what Jesus would have been. So tell me if this is weird or if you've ever
It's weird.
thought of this before.
No, I'm kidding. I don't
But
know.
like sometimes I like when I read the gospel or like the account of Jesus and what he does on his way to Calvary, carrying the cross, getting scourged, dying the way he does. Like, could I do that? Like,
No, I think that's a valid thought. I mean,
I don't mean to sound like subjective, but Mikey, you do run a lot. You probably have a good lung capacity. Not that I'm saying
that's
you could
true.
But well, yeah, like even from my sport, it just kind of gives me a perspective of like
The camera might be
endurance.
doing something up there.
Oh yeah, if we can just re-record that one. But like the endurance that Jesus kind of exhibits is like ridiculous. But like I'm able to appreciate some certain things, like when the Romans give him like vinegar.
Oh yeah,
It's like when runners, when they get pickle juice, it's like the same thing. It just has that taste in your mouth, and what it does is it doesn't necessarily. It's an endurance thing. It just stops you from cramping up.
Yeah.
And it's
Sure.
not so much that salt or vinegar actually have substances that your body needs. It's just that it's a signal to your brain to not shut down.
Oh.
And so, things like that.
Yeah,
It's like,
mine is Gatorade.
oh very.
So,
Electrolytes are great.
sorry, random tangent here. When I was training super hardcore, not to freak people out, but I started getting like heart palpitations. Like my
That's a
heart
thing?
would
Oh, you're
like,
talking
start
like
racing.
Like afibullitis.
no, like it would race very quickly.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
And the only way I could, basically, I didn't have enough electrolytes in my system. That's what was happening.
Fair.
So my doctor's like, you need to start drinking Gatorade. And so I was like, okay. So I had to start drinking Gatorade to like get everything to.
lowest resting heart rate.
I've never tested that.
I've never tested this.
I don't
You
actually
can get a
know.
watch or something.
I don't know.
Mine
Well,
is
I mean, you
33.
could still check those things out at like drugstores.
I
That's like half.
Yeah, but
that's like almost.
I
That's
feel
weird.
Like, no, I feel like at one point I did, and it was like 40 something.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know if that's normal, but okay.
Yeah. Peak of my training. That's what it was for mine. And I remember at this time I was still in the seminary as a seminarian, just praying lauds in the morning.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like I'm in the pew, and my heart just starts like these huge, slow but huge thumps, and I just think I'm gonna die
I don't
silently.
Oh
It's
my
so
God.
weird.
How you get so attuned to your heartbeat when you are like working out or like whatever. I can't even imagine how Jesus felt his heart.
Like, yeah,
during the
it's like
Passion.
it's interesting.
I don't even know. He didn't have blood to pump.
Yeah, how? I don't. But I mean, it's valid. I mean, I'm almost 30. Like I turned 30 in September, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm inching towards my Jesus here. Oh boy. But
Did you ever hear the tradition surrounding Jesus's tunic? Like the
one they rip off of him.
well, the
You're
one
talking about
that's
the one
seamless.
you talking about the stations, the one of his.
And I'm not sure if they even, show this in the Passion, but there's a tradition surrounding that Mary wove that seamless tunic for him.
Oh,
and it
yeah, I've
actually
heard about
grew
this.
with him as he grew. So, like,
I
at
didn't
least
know
I've heard
that.
about that.
It's considered a legend, right?
something like exactly.
I mean, that'd be cool.
I don't know if you can't verify it or anything, but
Until we get to heaven and see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because that seamless tunic or garment is not ripped apart by the Romans.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool.
They just sell it,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
I don't
They
know.
want to cast lots always. They're annoying.
They always want to make money off of it.
Yeah, it's like crypto.
No, but I like super love the Triduum in general. It's like my favorite season of the church. I love it so much.
It's intense.
It really is.
It is, but if
It's a lot to
it's
go
worth
through.
it. If you can honestly take the time to try to do it, it's worth it.
I will say, like, Catholics really go through the Triduum in, I don't know, like there's a lot to it between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Thursday.
And everything.
Oh yeah, there's yeah. I mean,
Don't forget Thursday.
Is Thursday part of the Triduum? Is Easter part of the Triduum?
I
No,
don't think Easter is.
It's Thursday when you would go.
Yeah, it's
So it's Thursday, Friday,
Yeah, because
Saturday,
it go
and then Easter.
It goes
It's not Triduum.
It's a 7 p.m. typical mass on Thursday.
Easter is an octave.
Yes.
Got it.
Thursday is a
Like a piano.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, you start on Thursday at 7. Typically.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I only have like St. Greg's experience, but I just like love I don't know, it's just like intense and it's like a really big reminder. Like I like Easter better than Christmas. I know that's weird, but I'm like I understand the incarnation's really cool, like whatever, but also like if Jesus didn't die and rise, we would never be able to go to heaven and like this would never have happened. Like this would not happen.
Bro, that's exactly what I was thinking, and that's how I would put it too. Because it's a schism. The whole like he resurrected. That's how
Yeah.
we read the creed.
We literally would not go to heaven.
Wait. What? You threw the word schism. What's a schism?
Oh, schism is a separation. What are you talking about?
Like with the Son and the Father and the whole.
The Orthodox schism.
Yeah, like the whole idea that like we believe what we believe because of Easter.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you read the creed, that the whole perspective
Yeah.
makes sense. That's all I'm trying to say.
I just missed something.
It's okay. Yeah, no, it's the creed does make sense. I mean, we wouldn't go to heaven, guys.
Guys,
Heaven wouldn't be open.
read the creed. It's a great.
We'd be stuck in like limbo. So there you go.
Yeah, it would be weird to be like,
Eschatology.
That's
would-
right, like the patriarchs, right? People
Yes.
like Abraham,
Oh my-
people like Moses were
Do you want-
holy.
Do you want me
but
to nerd out about this really fast, or
for 20 seconds?
if yes,
20 seconds? Okay, cool. There's this whole argument in the church
19,
of like
18,
where did
17.
stop counting?
I'm
It
kidding.
doesn't help me.
I'm being
Fingers.
sarcastic. Come
Where
on.
people go, where people went before Jesus like opened heaven, and so there's the limbo of fathers, which basically is a place that is not hell or purgatory, but a good place of natural bliss where good people went and they were ready to go to heaven, but they couldn't go to heaven, so Jesus had to open it and bring them to heaven.
Right,
Boom.
because heaven wasn't open yet. Dismas, which is the good thief,
Yes.
is traditionally the first person to enter into heaven.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
he's the first saint.
That's why he says like Jesus says, "Today you'll be with me in paradise," because when Jesus dies, like he literally opens the gates and takes everyone there.
He's physically telling his mercy to that person right there
Yes.
in physical form. Like
Yes.
if I was to be able to say that I was in person with that situation.
That's why I really like Easter and this whole like
Easter
triduum.
is really what most of the time I get when I'm going to those services from a lot of talks is like that's the sole purpose of our faith.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can try to show something, but I'll have to open up one of my CDs. But you keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really just like the reverence and intentionality of that entire time. I
Same.
usually go to like every service that exists for Holy Triduum Week.
Yeah.
I go to all of them. I mean, I do have to like awkwardly work for them too. It is like true. I do have to work. But like Holy Thursday is one of my favorites. It does like show the institution of the priesthood, which is really cool. And then
yeah, the washing of the feet, the whole
and then at our parish, they or my parish, they process Jesus into a different room and put him into a tabernacle. And my goodness, it's just so beautiful. The church is full.
Yeah.
They like go ham on all the things. And I'm like, yeah.
Where do
yeah.
you guys go? Because we go to our church hall, which is down the hall into the gymnasium. So like,
We go to the gathering rooms, so where we used to eat pizza for Fiat. And they set it up really beautifully, and it's just nice. I
Yeah.
mean, I will say the incense kill me, but it's fine.
that's where you take the suffering for the reasons for the season.
You know how there's the 7 churches pilgrimage that you do
Yes.
for the Thursday? So if people don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about
You,
that.
you visit 7 different churches where the Eucharist is kind of reserved
Yep.
on Holy Thursday.
Does any of us want to do that? I would totally be down.
I got to do it in Rome, along with some of the students from Christendom. So we just went walking around to the
That's
different.
amazing.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
I have to work.
No, yeah, you're
all
good.
weekend. Oh,
No, I love that idea because if you think about it, for that is like he won't be around for
Yeah.
a little bit.
yeah, I had some issues with the CD. Also, like Good Friday, there is no masses technically, but we do a lot of great things. Our kids do the living stations, and
Yeah.
we've actually increased the intensity, so there's a lot of acting and stuff, which is really awesome. And then Saturday, I don't really do much. I actually chill out on Saturday. But Sunday, I'm doing music for Mass
I actually
with
have a
the
question.
kiddos.
I never really thought about Holy Saturday in the whole.
How it fits.
How would you fit that in
So-
prayerfully?
Holy Saturday is like a weird
It's how okay. all right.
limbo day. I don't know how else to
really
describe
is.
it.
I was taught this. So Holy Saturday is the day that he's in the tomb.
Okay.
So it's a day of quiet and silence. And so it's just like that's kind of like
Intentionality to
a day
Just
of
waiting,
remembering
and
waiting
what I think about, especially on like the uncertainty that the apostles experienced, is like
Yeah.
they saw Jesus die. They don't know what's next.
they don't know if he's going to actually rise.
And maybe the idea of resurrection crossed their mind, but like, is it actually certain?
like
you
for
know,
real. No, so
They must have been freaking scared, bro.
that's why they were in the
well, they were next.
They
Fair.
were next.
Fair.
And that's why they were hiding in the upper room, man, when Pentecost happened. Saturday, Holy Saturday is weird, but it's also super important. But then you have the vigil Saturday night. I've only gone to one vigil. Well, okay. I've gone to one vigil mass as a participant, and then COVID year, I filmed the entire thing.
Oh man, it's a long service.
Yo, I'm sorry, Holy Week during COVID. Oh my god.
I can only imagine.
We were a film crew.
Yes.
I can
so
only imagine.
I
Crew.
purposely had to wear. I wore like black the whole time, and I am running between cameras. He's like back in the sacristy.
That was using the same. I call it the gator. the audio and video mixer that we're
Mm-hmm.
using for this, like
It was the same system.
that's the system we use.
But
for
we
that.
had 2 cameras, and I remember like I literally ran around the 2 cameras and just got everything for 4 days straight
Yeah.
or something.
I don't know about you, but I love the tradition of the lighting of the candle.
From the flame outside.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I went to
Dark Church, right?
I went to okay, this is a funny little tangent. The one service I went to at Queen of Heaven, my parish in West Seneca here, it goes where you start the lights are off in the parish.
Genesis.
Genesis
And
lights
then
are.
they turn the lights on.
Yeah,
That's
well,
cool.
obviously, as you can imagine, it's one of the most holiest days ever.
Yeah.
So most everybody goes, and there was an older man. He knew where the conjunction box was to turn the lights back on inside because we process from outside to inside. So
Yeah.
you're inside the
Did he turn the lights on before he was supposed to?
exactly. What am I trying to say? The narthex. There it is. The narthex was dark. He knew where the conjunction box was to go up to the
Junction box.
Yeah, like to turn the-
They turned the lights on.
yeah, where you would go up.
And he just turned them on?
he goes, "Oh, it's dark in here."
Oh my god.
And I'm like, and then Father Greg, he goes,
that ruins the experience.
Father Greg goes, "We're leaving the lights off. We're still praying intentionally." And
Yeah, we're gonna
everybody-
go fix those lights.
Then he goes,
I
it was funny.
Okay.
And I was with my good friend Josh, and we just went as 2 single dudes. It was really
fun.
funny.
I love is it the psalm? No, did they do the reading that's like horse and chariot? Is that a reading?
For the Easter Vigil, yeah.
Okay, so they do a reading, but they sing it, right?
Oh
Right,
yeah,
well-
like Taizé, like.
No. They sing. It's like horse and chariot, and then there's like tambourines, and then like
You can almost
Yeah.
imagine some sort of Judaic dance or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
and then like the cantor, she sings that, or he, whatever, sings that line, and then she sings the verse, and then everyone sings horse and chariot. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in like there are traditionally, I think, 7 readings, right?
Yes.
And then also 7 psalms.
Did we?
So there's lots of music.
Yeah. Did we do all 7 for the COVID year?
Hey, if you didn't, I still.
Like, do you
don't
remember?
think so.
Okay.
Don't quote me. We can probably go and check on
We
YouTube
can
right now.
go back and look it up.
I
It's
do.
all there.
I do recall going to St. John Vianney's on the other side of East and West over here.
Yeah.
And that was a fun time because they had the lights off, but they had it on. Like, think about going to a like an actor's theater where it's like small room experience, like a little coffee bar, and you have the lights shining at the altar, and it's just like it's dark and it's ominous and it's fun and it's almost like they're reenacting. It was just so like you felt so engaged. It's like,
Yeah.
and they all had like a way of being when they were speaking. They were like acting in a
Yeah.
good like being
Oh,
part
we
of.
didn't even. I just realized we didn't even do stations in 2020.
Oh
No.
wow! Well, I mean, it was implied.
I don't think we've kind of shared this on the UTM platform, but like the schedule of everything was really incredible because first, like we started trying to do live stream for just like.
Oh, are we talking about the
youth
shutdown and everything?
music?
Yeah.
Yeah, but leading up to Easter Vigil. So, and so that was like the fall before COVID.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
But
so
then
we had people with us, and we were starting to practice live streaming with people.
Yeah.
and it was very, literally, we have an hour-long video with no audio.
Right. Every single video. I
Ooh.
think there are 7 of them every
Yes.
week.
That sounds
little
terrible.
Better, little better,
Little better. And then we got a good one, and then
Right, and then leading into January, we started doing Fiat, which is this broadcasted live event, and the idea with Fiat was that it would be live streamed from the get go. We didn't get there until I want to say March,
which is when
and so we were getting the equipment together, be able to pull these live streams,
I
and then
think-
what do you know? Shutdown happens.
did we have Fiat live before we shut down?
Up
Wh-
to that point, I had just been post-processing videos.
Okay,
So when did it become live? I don't think.
but we
had-
started recording,
Yes.
and we had everyone in person in March before the shutdown.
Right.
Yes.
And I think it was finally a week or 2 before Easter Triduum that finally all of the pieces came together for
It-
live stream.
Yes.
And we didn't use it like Fiat was the what do you call it?
Test dummy.
Test dummy,
Ca-
guinea pig.
I mean, it was. It really was. I mean,
But
and youth ministry was.
and then we needed it just for the parish,
Oh
which
my
was kind of
gosh.
crazy. But so many times you see live stream as far as like oh, it's like a surveillance camera that's getting, video and stuff. But that's like once we got our live stream working, it was like good.
I will say,
good glass, good optics, good lenses, good audio, and so
I will definitely say that the streams you guys were doing were most viewed, probably.
Oh, I mean,
you were the only parish at the freaking time.
It's crazy because when we shut down, and I remember this, we shut down, we were able to live stream the weekend we shut down. We were the only parish that was able to do that, and we had so many people watching. It was crazy, and because of that, we got to have people from all over the world watching. I don't know. I think I told Michael this story, but we had a girl from Guatemala watching like all of our youth ministry stuff because it was all live streamed. She's like, "My kids watch this now. Like, this is what we do."
About that, yeah.
But we were getting donations from all over the place because you had people all over the country watching our live streams.
Sure.
And we had and especially for the Holy Triduum, like Holy Week. We had so many people watching because we were the only parish that was doing almost everything. There were certain things we couldn't do, but doing everything and live streaming it and making it available for everybody.
Yeah. Well, anyways, all that being said, it's like, go to your services, man.
Yeah, do it. I mean, I just flash back to how long I spent at that church.
Yeah, it's support your priests, support your parishes, go.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't want to have to do that, I will say.
No, it was probably the saddest thing watching the priest get like...
How sad it was to go watch Easter at freaking home in my bedroom.
The worst part...
Being able to be inside and...
Yeah, we were a totally different world. Like, we were allowed to.
It's still... I would respect to say that you had the moral rights.
Thank you. But it was also really hard because I worked really closely with the priests, and they were, like, really upset about this whole situation. Father Liam, like, cried on the altar. Like, it was a whole thing.
Can only imagine, man. Mm-hmm. Passionate man.
I know. But now we get to be in person, which is wonderful.
I'm with you. We're in person right now. Hi.
What is...
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
What is your favorite, like, thing with the Triduum? What is your favorite thing?
It's tough.
Wow, this is a lot of dead air for a podcast.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's a tough one because it's a very serious question. It's a very important question.
There's a lot of pieces to the Triduum. There's a lot of different traditions. There's a lot of different celebrations, and there's a lot of different beautiful aspects.
There's the Easter basket blessing, which is Saturday, usually at 12 or 3 p.m.
Is that your favorite part?
It's the happiest part.
That's true.
I'm going to be the oddball obvious answer. I would have to say Good Friday is the best day, particularly in what we understand. Because if you're going to tell anybody what the Triduum is, they're going to say Good Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know they didn't know it involves Thursday, and they probably don't realize it ends.
I would say Thursday just because, like, the Mass is
true.
different. Like, the
Mass
Mass
is different.
Is done differently just because, like, it's special because it's a reenactment of the actual Mass. And, like, afterwards...
Oh,
like,
the washing of the feet?
There's the washing of the feet, but Jesus isn't reposed back in the normal tabernacle. It's like there's a respect for the fact that, okay, at this point, he would be on his way to be judged by the chief priests, and like he'd be going over there. So we're not going to put Jesus in the normal place. He's going to be over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I like that. I like that. I do like doing a lot of adoration on Thursday.
Yeah, I also really like Holy Thursday because again, it priesthood solidifies the priesthood.
Boom.
I think that's cool.
It is
the priests redo their vows every.
I forgot about that.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it vow? Yeah.
They start the service by going right up to the altar and just being prostrate.
They do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was really random with COVID and the lockdown because I got to be like right there and like see it. I didn't have because I couldn't sit. I was doing all the filming and I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah, usually you only see that like at ordination.
No.
It's incredible. I like getting baptized on Easter. Yeah. Can I be honest? Renewing my baptism on Easter, bro.
The priests have way too much fun with the water.
And that was funny.
I'm going to say the fun word.
How many?
Aspergillium. Sorry.
Like, what did we have? What do you call them? people coming to be baptized, catechumens or
Oh, yeah.
They get their sacraments.
Yeah.
RCIA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
did we have RCIA that year?
2020?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sad.
No, we remember because
I thought there was a year like where no one had anyone like at St. Greg's. We had a whole bunch, or was that the
21.
next year?
It was
That's
21.
Okay.
Because 2020, the doors were locked. Remember?
Okay.
It was just like the two of us, Amanal, and the priests, and Some Jojo.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was it.
Man, yeah,
That was
Sesame
it.
JoJo.
And that was. Oh my
I
God.
just love.
Seminarian Joe.
Sorry, yes, that was the nickname I had for Father Joe when he's a seminarian. I was the one that started that
And
whole
youth
thing.
ministry, yeah.
Yeah.
We called him Some Jojo, and then everyone started calling him Some Jojo, and then
And even I got on it, and I
got
got on it in the context of like I wasn't even involved. I was
And you
just going
couldn't
to young
even make
adult
the switch
stuff.
once he actually became a priest.
Well, now he's Papa Jojo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we call him Papa
Look at that.
Jojo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while. I remember when he switched to St. Greg's, and the first day I was like, oh, you're not a seminarian. You're not.
Oh,
Papa
but
Jojo.
wasn't that ordination cool? I'm pretty sure
I saw
we
parts
were
of
all
you
there.
on
And
YouTube
we were at the
with that.
cathedral, and then I don't know, we were just really loud.
We shocked the bishop.
Yeah.
He was not prepared
Like,
for
he
our
jumped.
excitement. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to be excited about.
Well,
Come on, it only
you're-
happens once
Yeah.
in your life.
Your brother got the same reaction.
Yeah.
Father Paul got this. Like anytime someone comes to St. Greg's, we're like, "Ah!" So like, it's,
Yeah. No, I can only imagine.
we're an excited
I
parish.
just imagine, if you okay, let's just say you study that long, and then if people's reaction is like, come on,
you don't
For real,
just, like,
for real, for real.
You don't just like give up your life, and everyone's like,
they're
this is
the
great.
they're the
Wow.
There's
What is he
The
doing?
priests that are more from a African cultural background, like their family attends and like they are clapping, they are singing and dancing during that ordination. It's like, I'm not gonna do that, but I am gonna yell really
Yeah,
loud.
let's get alive, people. Get alive for the faith.
I will say the culture of African tribal dancing is fun.
Yeah, they like. Oh my gosh, their
like,
masses
yeah,
are
they're having a
insane.
blast. Yeah,
I've never been. I don't know.
I've only caught it on History Networks.
And Father Moses, who is from Nigeria. No, yes. Yes.
Yes,
He was at our parish, and he would talk about all the masses all the time. He's like, yeah, we just like party. I'm like, what? Okay.
party.
Party in the church. Love it.
All right, well, how long are we?
I don't even know where we're
Oh
at.
boy, I feel like we're just getting started. Unfortunately,
Oh,
50.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, that's a good length.
That's
though.
a good length, y'all. So by the time this is posted, it will be Easter. So I'm
we
going to
didn't-
guess.
We didn't. We didn't. No, I should be able to get it up in this week. So
Yeah.
during
Never
Holy
mind.
Week.
Happy Holy Week, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you say Happy Holy Week? I'm sorry.
I would say you could say
Blessed Holy Week.
yeah.
Well, here at UTM Potty, we can say
gr-
Happy Holy Week.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, I hope you all subscribe and follow this because I don't know what's going to happen.
Please subscribe, not to the potty per se.
But to the channel, that'd be great.
We're all growing.
We're growing
I'm
up.
gonna not lie. I used the potty today.
We all use the pot. Okay, you know
I don't.
what?
I don't think I did.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not healthy.
I did
It's
yesterday.
not good for the bladder.
Well, you know what? Jesus loves you all. I hope you have a great day.
Are we really gonna end it at that?
Yeah, we are, because why not?
And honestly,
All right. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe.
your priests love
I gotta
you.
tear up. This is sad.
I think this is going to be the best one.
Your priests love you.
Your priests
Just
love
go
you.
go to your parishes.
Go to your services, enjoy your Triduum,
Pray hard.
pray hard, and suffer for
pray,
the Lord.
pray hard, play hard.
Die,
Amen.
rise. Go for it.
Amen.
Bye.
Boom.